The NFL playoffs are almost here.
This is the Halftime Sports Talk Show with your host, Reese Kinder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of the Halftime Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Reese Kinder, and today, not a lot of, excuse me, not a lot of college football to talk about, but a lot of NFL to talk about. NFL playoffs are just around the corner. Can't wait to get that started, and we are going to jump right into today's episode. Hope you guys are enjoying your week. It is a Wednesday, currently January 8th, and this episode will drop soon. So hopefully you guys like and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Halftime Sports Talk Official for more content like this. And also follow us on TikTok as well at Halftime Sports Talk Show Official. But with that being said, all the shout outs and everything, now we are going to get into some football. And I know you guys are ready for some NFL football this weekend, especially. We got Saturday, January 11th. You got the first playoff game between the Chargers and Texans. And I mean, this game's going to be a close game. Really expect a lot of the playoff games to be close games. This Chargers game though will be played in Houston. Um, and the Chargers are a 3-point favorite. And honestly, I would tend to agree. I think this Chargers team definitely definitely looks a lot better now that Justin Herbert has produced like the way they thought he would this year. And the Chargers 6-3 this season on the road. And I think I'm gonna have to go with the Chargers winning this game in NRG Stadium for the first round of the playoffs. That game, 3:30 CBS. And I mean that should, like I said, that should be a fun game. The Chargers, Justin Herbert, like I mentioned, has had a great season along with CJ Stroud, who's had kind of a mediocre season. Justin Herbert, though, 23 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, just almost 4,000 passing yards. And then CJ Stroud, just a little under 4,000 passing yards. He has 20 TDs, but 12 interceptions. That is a thing to look out for. Will the Texans turn the ball over a lot here in this game against the Chargers, which wouldn't be a good thing. Chargers can definitely get the turnovers going early because that's one thing they've been able to do all season long on defense. That defense for LA has been really good as of late. And then, both running backs, J.K. Dobbins, who's been injured for some of the second half of the season. Dobbins, just below 1,000 yards for the season, has 9 touchdowns. But then the Texans, that Joe Mixon has had an outstanding year. Just as they thought, he has just over 1,000 yards and 11 TDs. Very good for Joe Mixon. And then Ladd McConkey, the receiver for the Chargers, the rookie, who possibly could have won Rookie of the Year if, obviously Jaden Daniels didn't have the year he did. But Ladd McConkey's had a heck of a year, 82 receptions, just over 1,000 yards, and 7 TDs. And then, the leading receiver for the Texans, Nico Collins, just over 1,000 yards, 7 TDs, and 68 receptions. So good year for both of those receivers, but Ladd McConkey definitely beating Nico Collins out right now. But I think this will be a close game between the Chargers and the Texans, but I do think LA comes out um, on top here on the road on Saturday. So this should be a good one in NRG Stadium. But going away from that one on Saturday, the last Saturday game is at M&T Bank Stadium. We saw this game a few weeks ago. The Steelers and Ravens. This should be a fun one. The Ravens are 9.5-point favorites, but this is a divisional game, and yeah, I really expect it to be close. I think all these AFC North divisional games have always been close in the playoffs, and maybe the Steelers can get some revenge for that loss they had in the late part of the season a few weeks ago. I believe it was a few weeks before Christmas. So definitely something to look out for. The Ravens and Steelers. Russell Wilson gets his team into the playoffs, and then Lamar Jackson back in the playoffs again for another year after they lost last year, and they were the 1 seed, the Ravens were. But this year, the Ravens are coming back for revenge, and can they get it going against the Steelers, who have kind of had a struggle as of late, haven't been that good. Russell Wilson's not performing up to the standard they thought he would the past few weeks. And I think that's why the Ravens are a 9.5-point favorite. It will be a very cold game. It's going to be about 30 degrees, the temperature. And yeah, I think it's going to be a close one, but I got Baltimore coming out on top in this one and possibly getting a big first round wild card win against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which would move the Ravens on to the divisional round. And I don't know who they'd play. I believe they'd play the uh either the Bills or Broncos. I'm not certain, but we'll see. Um, but definitely look out for those two games on Saturday, January 11th. You got the Chargers, Texans, and Steelers, Ravens. Those are two high-powered matchups between a bunch of good teams there, and look out for those games on Saturday. Now, moving on to the Sunday games. The first game you have at 12 o'clock on Sunday on CBS, you have the Broncos with Bo Nix, and then you have the Bills with Josh Allen. And Bo Nix, had a stellar season, led the Broncos to their first playoff appearance since 2015-2016 season. So it's been a while for the Denver Broncos. And then Josh Allen gets his team back in the playoffs again, and they have not lost a home game all season. The Bills haven't. So this Broncos team coming into Highmark Stadium, definitely going to be a loud environment, 29 degrees and cloudy, possibly some snow showers. But definitely something to look out for here. Bo Nix, a rookie, has done some remarkable things this season. And can he do another one here by upsetting the Bills? I don't think so personally, but I'm sure there's people out there that do think so. I think the Bills get a big win here and move on. But this game will definitely be one to watch early on in the day because this Bills team and this Broncos team have been pretty good this year, especially with the way Bo Nix has played and, Josh Allen playing like an MVP this season. So definitely something to look out for at that 12 o'clock game. But moving on from the Bills and Broncos, the next game I'm going to highlight is the Packers and Eagles. This Eagles team, Nick Sirianni did say some crazy stuff to the fans earlier in the season, and ever since then, the Eagles have been on a roll. This Eagles team, though, I don't know about Jalen Hurts. I think he'll be back, but definitely going to have to look out with Hurts after he did get a concussion a few weeks ago. But definitely going to be precautious, the Eagles will be. That game, kickoff time, 3:30 Fox. But this Packers team, is coming in to Lincoln Financial Field. They're coming in at 11-6, and this Packers team's had a really good year. Jordan Love's performed exactly how the Packers thought that he would. After making the playoffs last year, the Packers are back in it again, and it looks like they found their quarterback in Jordan Love. And yeah, I believe this game will be close because the Packers' offense is definitely one of these offenses you got to look out for. That's the 7 versus 2 matchup in the NFC, and I feel like honestly this matchup in the NFC between the 7 and 2, I feel like the Eagles will get a close win, but definitely the NFC games will be higher scoring than the AFC. But I got the Eagles in this one, even though they're a 4.5-point favorite. And then moving on to the Sunday night football game between the Commanders and the Buccaneers. The Commanders, obviously Cinderella team this year, have made it all the way to the playoffs. Jayden Daniels led this team through some insane endings to games, like these two clips I'm about to show here. The Hail Mary.
It's hurting more now. Comes down to one last play, and it's going to be getting longer by the second. You're all the way back at the 30-yard line. Now you can step into it. Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line, and the ball is caught! Caught! It's a miracle! It's Noah Brown! Oh my goodness! This town is going crazy!
And then after, you got the crazy game winner against the Eagles.
2nd and goal, 10 seconds. Daniels fires, end zone, touchdown! Jamison Crowder, preposterous, 5 turnovers, and the lead was 7.
So yeah, Jayden Daniels just been on a tear this season, and yeah, I definitely think this game between the Commanders and Buccaneers, they did play week 1 of the season, and the Buccaneers got a giant win. But I got the Commanders in this one. I'm going to take the upset here. I think Washington gets it done on the road in Raymond James Stadium. You know, the Bucks did not play in a good division, did not play that good against the Saints last week. So I really see the Commanders getting an upset in Tampa Bay, and they'll move on to the second round, to the divisional round of the playoffs, which would be great for the Commanders fans. They've been waiting for this for a long time. Can't wait to see what happens there on Sunday Night Football. That's on NBC for those that want to watch it. And then the last game to highlight in the NFL playoffs is the Vikings and the Rams. The Vikings and Rams, you know, both of them have had great seasons this year for the Vikings. It was supposed to be a rebuild year, but the Vikings ended up figuring out Sam Darnold was a really good quarterback, and the Vikings went 14-3, just missed the 1 seed in the NFC, but the Lions ended up beating them last week to get the 1 seed. But definitely a team you like to see in the playoffs. The Vikings back in there again at 14-3, and they'll be facing off against the Rams, which the Rams, I mean, they've done very good this season. Matthew Stafford leading his team back to the playoffs again, and you know, you gotta like Matthew Stafford in this game against the Vikings. But I will have to take the Vikings this one. Sam Darnold just had a stellar season. I believe these two teams played earlier in the season, and the Vikings got a win, but it was close. But yeah, the Rams and Vikings definitely will be a good game. The Vikings are only a 1-point favorite, but like I said, I'm going to take Minnesota in this one, but I'm definitely rooting for the Rams to possibly pull off an upset if possible. We'll see. Well, honestly, you know, today we were going to get, I mean, we aren't going to cover any college football because college football is not happening until Friday. And, you know, honestly, the NFL right now, the big thing, that's the big focus right now is the NFL playoffs for sure. I kind of wanted to break that down. And definitely, I think this NFL playoffs this season will be, I don't know, it kind of depends on the NFL playoffs, what's going to happen, because you got the Chiefs at the 1 seed, the Lions are at the other 1 seed. So those are your 2 1 seeds. I don't really know if there'll be any upsets this year because it just seems like a lot of teams have had a lot of blowouts. So I tend to feel like it's going to be a close NFL playoffs going on here this year, and I think we'll see a pretty good Super Bowl as well later on in February in New Orleans. So that should be good to see for the fans and everything. But that's going to do it for NFL. And now we're going to move on to men's college basketball. You know, had some great games yesterday, actually. The new rankings came out. Auburn and Tennessee still battling for that number 1 and number 2 spot. And speaking of Auburn, Auburn gets a big win. They go into Texas and get a huge SEC win, 87-82. And, I mean, this Auburn team just continues to roll, 14-1, 2-0 in the SEC. And this Tigers team looking like the number 1 team in the country for sure, the way they've been playing. You know, Janai Broome had another great game. And Texas did kind of come back there at the end of that game, though. Did scare me a little bit. But, yeah, Auburn gets the big win against Texas. Really good for the Tigers to get a win. And actually, a little bit of history was broken. Men's basketball coach Bruce Pearl for the Auburn Tigers. Congratulations to him. He is now passed, I believe, is Josh Evans for the most wins in Auburn men's basketball history. Bruce Pearl now at 214. The record was 213. And Bruce Pearl passes that by 1, and he's still got a long way to go. So I definitely think this Tigers team got a lot more games to win. But Bruce Pearl makes history with the win against the Longhorns last night, Tuesday, January 7th. That was a great game between Auburn and Texas. Auburn 2-0 in SEC play. Texas drops to 0-2, but the Tigers will play South Carolina on Saturday, and I believe Texas will play I don't even know who they play. Let's look really quick. Texas will play Tennessee on Saturday, number 1 team in the country, so maybe the Longhorns can pull off the upset then. But Auburn and Texas was a 5-point game, pretty good game between those 2 teams. And the shocker of the night came from Gainesville, Florida. The Florida Gators take down the number 1 team in the country, which means now Auburn possibly has the number 1 spot after Tennessee drops a game to Florida. And they didn't just drop the game, they lost by 30 points to Florida. And it was not a good game at all. This Florida team, has been very good all season. Non-conference play, they've been very good. SEC play did drop one early to Kentucky, but got the bounce back against Tennessee. Tennessee did not look good at all. I believe went 2 for 40 and 3-point shots. Not very good at all. And the Vols fell by 30 points on the road in Gainesville. And this Florida team looking like a team that can compete in the SEC. But big win for the Gators on Tuesday night, and can't wait to see when the new rankings come out what's going to shape up. It could be Auburn at number 1, could be Duke at number 1, could be Iowa State at number 1, maybe even Florida. We will see next Monday, and we'll definitely recap that after. But Florida and Tennessee, 73-43. Good game good game for Florida. Tennessee, got some work after that game. But another SEC conference play game happened last night too. The Georgia Bulldogs upset the Kentucky Wildcats in Athens. Georgia, has been pretty hyped up. They've been hyped up all season with the way they've played in non-conference play. They did lose their first SEC game, but then they win against a team like Kentucky, and this for the program in Georgia means a lot. I mean, this Georgia program has been struggling as of the past few years, and it's good to see them get back on track and get a win like this. And this could be the next step towards the NCAA tournament for the Bulldogs, and I can't wait to see what the rest of this year brings for Georgia basketball, because I'm really excited to watch this SEC conference and some teams like, Georgia and Vanderbilt that are smaller that haven't had success in the past few years. I'm excited to see teams like them perform. And great win for the Bulldogs against Kentucky, 82-69. And that was another SEC upset of the night. Almost looks like the SEC is just trending with upsets right now. But going away from the SEC a little bit, you did have a Big 12 upset. Arizona all of a sudden is on a hot streak in Big 12 play after beating West Virginia by almost 20. Arizona is now 3-0 in Big 12 play. And that moves them to 9-5 on the season. Did not have a very good non-conference season, but it looks really good, though, on the resume for Arizona to get these wins in conference play. And, right now, the Wildcats are definitely making a statement in Big 12 play that they could play with the big boys right now. Arizona was supposed to have a good season, but did not. So we'll see what the Wildcats do later on in the season as they upset West Virginia at West Virginia by 19. And then the next game that I'm going to highlight is Michigan upsets UCLA in Big Ten play. Michigan 4-0 in Big Ten play. They upset number 22 UCLA on the road by almost 20 as well. Michigan just shut down UCLA's offense in the second half and was able to get the job done and end up getting a 20-point win. Great job for the Michigan Wolverines. I mean, this year I did not expect Michigan to be that good, but I mean, we'll see how they do later on in the season in conference championship play and stuff like that. But definitely a team to look out for in the Wolverines for sure, the way they've been playing as of late. And Michigan gets the win 94-75 in a big one in LA. But the last game of men's college basketball that I want to highlight is Utah State and San Jose State. That was a close one last night in the Mountain West. Utah State now ranked. They are 15-1 on the season, 5-0 in the Mountain West. And this Utah State team's been rolling as of late. 85-78 though, pretty close, but good job for Utah State to get a win against San Jose State. Don't really know how good San Jose State is. They're 0-5 in the MAC, so I don't think they're that good. But definitely going to be on the lookout for a team like Utah State later on in the season for sure. But now, with that, we're going to go to the basketball games tonight between some teams. The only good basketball game tonight is the number 10 Texas A&M Aggies at the number 17 Oklahoma Sooners, and this game is going to be pretty close as Oklahoma looks to bounce back after getting blown out by Alabama 107-79. And then Texas A&M looks to continue the run in conference play and go to 2-0 in conference play. But this Oklahoma team, they haven't really played anybody all season, but I do think they could get a bounce back win against the Aggies. We'll see. Tip-off is at 8 o'clock. That's 3 hours away. But OU is favored by 2.5, and I think I'm going to take A&M though. I do like the Aggies here on the road in Norman. I feel like Texas A&M's been able to fight through adversity this season, and I think they're going to continue this SEC run they're on and possibly get even higher ranked than 10th and possibly go to like 5th or 6th after this week. We'll see. But I got Texas A&M in that matchup between SEC's teams. But really, tonight, I guess I kind of picked the best night to do the episode. I know it's a short episode, only I guess you could say a few minutes long. Sorry for that, though. I was going to film last night, but got caught up with some things. And then, we're supposed to have a winter storm come through here. So I've been trying to prepare for that as of the past few days. So hope you guys understand. But that's going to do it for episode 7 of the Halftime Sports Talk Show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you want to see more videos of the Halftime Sports Talk Show. And also, if you guys want to be on an episode, just DM me on Instagram at Halftime Sports Talk Show Official or my own personal Instagram profile, Reese Kinder. Just look it up on Instagram if you can. And then also, don't forget to follow us on TikTok. But that will do it for episode 7. Hope you guys enjoy your evening. And thank you for watching.